What's up? It's Marco, Sage of Soccer, and this week, instead of talking completely about the Premier League match week, it wasn't a full week. I want to talk a bit about Leeds. I've been talking about them a lot leading into this season, and some USMNT national team players in the Premier League. Like I said before, this wasn't a full week. We didn't learn anything new, like, oh, Erling Haaland's elite. Okay, Tottenham look improved under Conte. Arsenal look really strong. The relegation battle's confusing. Like, the only thing I think we really got information on is like Leicester look bad. I might talk about them at the end a little bit, but just going to Jesse Marsch's Leeds squad, and yeah, they're currently in 11th place, game in hand, probably closer to like the ninth best team in the league at the moment, squarely in mid-table, and I'd say that's definitely a good thing. I was expecting them to be competing for relegation, and it's nice to see the fast start they got off to. So defense for them is still a bit of a concern. They're joint seventh most conceded with 10 goals conceded. Christensen has come in and helped the defense. Ailing, Stuart Dallas, like their versatility is great for Leeds, but just quality-wise, I think it was an upgrade to bring in Christensen. However, the defense still looks pretty weak as a whole. Like conceding goals is a big issue for them. I'm still not sold on Melia as a goalkeeper. He's got a lot of talent, I think, but he's still young. I don't think he's put it all together yet. But definitely a lot of potential there, and you could see the promise in this team getting better, but I think they need to get like one or two like just improved center backs. I think would really help out the squad. However, our offense has really been a positive for them, and that's without Patrick Bamford. Rodrigo had a really hot start. He's up there in the Premier League goal race. Not up there with Haaland, but I think he's at 4, which is aside from Haaland, only 6 is the top scorer. Then Harrison has really been proving his quality, just showing that he is a really talented player. Sinisterra has really looked good in the last few games. I think he's going to get going. And Brenden, Aaronson, Tyler Adams, Roca have all come in and raised the level of Leeds' midfield. I think that they spent the money that they got from Rafinha and from Calvin Phillips really wisely. I would have liked the defense to get better, but I think they did their best to improve the quality of the team. Like you see a lot of times, like Liverpool with Luis Suarez, Tottenham with Gareth Bale. Clubs will kind of like blow that money, not get anybody really good out of it. I think Christian Eriksen came from the Bale money, so that's the Bale money. That sounds kind of weird, but it's nice to see that they spent it wisely, and I think their team really did improve. And I think they're going to be avoiding relegation worries this year. They're not out of the woods yet. They're only on 9 points, but it's looking pretty good at the moment. And I should say that all the breaks that they're having is probably going to help out. Like the concern with Leeds has kind of been that they gas out, but they're getting 2 weeks break here. They should be able to play strong until the World Cup. They get another break. Like that's really going to help them out, I think, in the long run. I'm pretty sure that Leeds is going to stay up. Speaking of another team that looks like they're going to be staying up, Jedi Robinson, Tim Ream's Fulham squad is looking pretty good. Fulham, they are conceding a ton of goals, which isn't the best when our 2 players there are defenders, but I think that, given that they're a team fighting for staying up and they're in 6th place, I think you can forgive that. Tim Ream's been looking pretty good. Probably should have gotten called back to the national team, though I'm not losing sleep on it. Jedi is currently injured, but he should be recovered by the time the international window closes. So it's nice to see them doing pretty well. Mitrovic has been on fire for them, and I basically said, if Mitrovic gets to 10 goals, I feel confident in Fulham staying up. He's already on 6. Things are looking very positive there. And also, when did they sign Willian? I completely missed that. I feel like that should have been I know he's not the player he used to be, but I feel like I should have realized that. Get him going to London again. He had a lot of success at Chelsea. I think he had one decent year at Arsenal as well. But yeah, it's good to see him back, I guess, even though probably not going to be playing too much. Staying in London, Christian Pulisic. He's got a new manager now, which is definitely good because it was not going well with Tuchel. Yeah, he's been off to, I can't even say a bad start. He just hasn't been playing much, and when he has gotten minutes, it hasn't been pretty. But to be fair to him, all the attackers in Chelsea, aside from probably Sterling, have been off to a really bad start. And yeah, I don't really know what Tuchel is trying to implement. I don't know why he signed Lukaku last year. Like, when you sign Lukaku, you build your team around him. Like, you knew what you were getting into. He's an amazing striker if you use him right, and he just decided to not use him right. He is still on loan, so I'm honestly hoping that he comes back to Chelsea because I think he can still do some damage. I think maybe Graham Potter will be able to get the best of him. And speaking of Graham Potter, I mean, Brighton has been amazing this year, and I think, like, it was obvious, I mentioned it before, that Potter was not going to stay at Brighton for long. I thought he'd be holding out for the England job, though, so interesting to see him take that move to Chelsea. Maybe he can be the first English manager to win the Premier League, though Chelsea still have a lot of catching up to do to reach Man City and probably Liverpool and, at this point, Arsenal as well. Like, it's going to be tough for them to even make the Champions League this year with how Tottenham's been looking. But, yeah, I guess now if Southgate gets sacked after the tournament, it's probably Steve Cooper who gets the England job. He did very well with their youth teams. He's looked pretty good. Did a good job getting Nottingham Forest to the Premier League, so that's probably the next man up, I guess. Then finishing off the players, another two in London. We got Chris Richards, who's gotten off the bench a couple of times for Crystal Palace. He's injured currently, but I think at the moment, even when they play a back three, he's behind Joel Ward and that third center back role, which is a little bit concerning, especially at this point in the season. He's gotten most of his playing time at like a left wing back role, I think. Like, it's like, I was always saying, like, I don't think this is a good move for Richards, but as a Crystal Palace fan, I'm excited. Like, again, it's good to have that depth off the bench, especially, like, for a Crystal Palace side that just it needs, like, a lot of depth. We've seen situations where, like, we had to play Martin Kelly as a center back for a long period of time. Like I'm really happy that Richards is there, but it's definitely not the best move for him. And Matt Turner at Arsenal, he got a little bit of time in the Europa League. Looked a bit shaky, but I'm not too concerned. I think he's going to find his footing once he really gets into, like, basically playing weekly, because the Europa League's going to be going a lot. They've got, like, and they're probably going to go on some cup runs. I'm feeling pretty good about Arsenal. So, yeah, it's everybody, every American in the Premier League to talk about. I want to mention Leicester a little bit. Like, I did not expect them to be this weak. Like I said, quality-wise, like, they should be 7th right now, or, like, at least top 10. Like, Brendan Rodgers just has to go at this point. Like, man, I'm just disappointed because, like, I probably said this in, like, the early days of this channel, like, back in 2020, or if not, like, it's not too much of a stretch to think this. Like, I thought that, like, if Leicester kept that midfield of Ndidi, Tielemans, and Maddison for, like, a good amount of time, like, they'd be in Europe, like, every single year consistently. Like, there's just so much talent there, and, like, they all fulfilled their potential. Tielemans should be at Arsenal. James Maddison has had a lot of good moments, and Ndidi's been solid, like, and, like, they've not even, like, squandered it. Like, they brought in, like, a good Vardy replacement in Daka. Like, I mean, Vardy's Vardy. You're not going to completely replace his production, but Daka, Iheanacho, like, they look good. Iosi Perez was a decent signing. Suinshu had some good moments. They got a lot of money for Fofana. Like, I like the signings of, like, Castagna. Luke Thomas has come through. Like, it's just, something went wrong, and, man, I'm going to have to really do more research on that to talk about that more. But, yeah, it's sad for Leicester because they should be a lot better. But yeah, that's all I have to talk about right now. At this point of the Premier League, like, I get it, but it's basically 2 weeks without it, or it's going to be like a long time without games for like a good amount of teams because of everything that went down. But yeah, it is what it is. I talk about these players a bit, and yeah, that's all I'll talk right now. See you.